Cityline. So if you have watched this show, you know how much I love our mayor and I love watching our city council and our city council members. So a couple weeks ago, I'm watching the city council meeting, and this beautiful woman next to me pops up, and she is there because they have ordained January Tacoma Whole Child Month. And I was so captured by what she was saying that I hunted her down, and here she is. So please join me in welcoming Laura Allen. She is the director of Tacoma Whole Child. Welcome, Lauren.
Amanda, thanks so much for that warm welcome. I appreciate you.
Well, I appreciate you putting up with me stalking you. So thank you so much for your patience. So Tacoma Whole Child, Lauren, is a part of Tacoma Public Schools. So what is the goal of this program?
Our big, hairy, audacious goal is that every single child in Tacoma is healthy, safe, engaged, challenged, and supported. Now, can you just picture if every single child in our city is physically and mentally, emotionally safe and healthy, that they feel challenged to learn and grow, and people that believe and support them to do that, that they are engaged in after-school activities or sports and their academic content, that they feel that juice of learning. So we are relentless and urgent in that goal, and we want to support students 24/7 as they move through their lives. Not only in the school day, but Amanda, also when they're with our community partners in what we call expanded learning opportunities, when they're home with their families, when they move about in their neighborhoods. We're just going to wrap them up and care for them.
Laura, you sound like the co-parent of my dreams, in the sense of when my daughter was in public school, I would have yearned to hear these words, which leads me to the question of when did the program begin? Because I don't remember 20 years ago this kind of presence being around, although it may have.
Yeah, I appreciate that. So if I could take you back, the impetus for it beginning about 10 years ago, half of our kids weren't graduating from Tacoma Public Schools. And it's untenable to think about the life start that is for those youth that went through and didn't graduate. And so before my time here, I certainly can't take credit for it, but our Superintendent Santorno and Dr. Josh Garcia, they partnered with the University of Washington, Tacoma, and Dr. Greg Benner there. And they created these whole child framework, these supports for kids. And we moved from a nearly 50% dropout rate, where we were on the front page of USA Today, and it splashed this headline that Tacoma Public Schools is a dropout factory. And we've changed that. So now, 4 years on-time graduation rate is 89.9%. And we know some kids need a little longer, that life happens. And when we look at those longer terms, that our graduation rate is even higher. So we're leaning into the whole child, and it's one part of what's making a difference.
You know, when you say 89.9%, that is such an incredible number to hear in such a short amount of time. This program has yielded tremendous results. Now, let's fast forward, and we are in the middle of a pandemic right now. Hence, we're not on the comfy couch in the studio. So how have things changed? And also, I believe we had hybrid kindergarten also start this week.
Really, everything has changed. It's completely a different way of doing education. So what we knew coming into this is that from a whole child perspective, rates of depression and anxiety are just sky high for our youth, right? And we also know that very few of us made it through childhood without childhood traumas, meaning there was abuse or neglect or incarceration of a parent or death of a parent or addiction in the family. And that impacts our capacity for critical thinking and caring about academics, right? And so what we really wanted is to lean in to, we can't change those events for kids, but what we can do is raise the protective factors that support them and help them get through those darker days. So that means that we leaned into relationship building. You know, how do we make connections through a computer? How do we build these relationships and help people to feel like they belong and that there's folks on the other side that care and are happy to see them? How do we build social emotional skills that help students navigate through their lives, through challenging times? And then how do we create warm and welcoming spaces? How do we celebrate their authentic selves for whoever they are and let them shine in that and thrive in that? And so the one positive, if I am to find a positive in the pandemic, is how much social emotional learning, the whole child, mental wellness has really surfaced as critical, as a non-negotiable. We've got to have it, and we've got to do everything to take care of that first, so then kids can learn.
Beautifully said. So when you received the proclamation, Laura, from the city of Tacoma, tell us, what was it like?
Yeah, that was such an honor. You know, I really appreciate Mayor Woodard's and the Tacoma City Council that they understand that in a blink of an eye, our students are going to be the ones that are the leaders in Tacoma and running our community. And for them to go all in to care about kids, that means a lot. And I have to say that when our students are the ones in power and running our community, that we're in really good hands because they're brilliant, way smarter than I was as a kid. And they think critically and they communicate and they collaborate in ways that I didn't learn how to do in school. So we're going to be in very good hands. And one other thrill that we had is Governor Inslee also proclaimed it Whole Child Month as well.
So with all these proclamations, are there activities planned for this month? And if so, what are they?
Well, we would love for folks to go to tacomaschools.org, and we have, you'll see it, or even on Facebook, there's articles about Tacoma Whole Child Month. And there you can, one neat thing for families to do, or even educators or community members, there's a calendar, and they can see daily fun activities for every single day of Whole Child Month to participate. Also, there's nomination forms because we are a district of whole child champions. This doesn't live in one department or with a few people, and it's not just for a few kids. It's for all of us, and it's powered by all of us. And so when parents know of a counselor who has just gone above and beyond to care for their student, nominate them for a whole child recognition. A teacher that is exhaustive, trying to keep engagement levels high through this computer, please nominate them. Bus drivers that greet a student and start off the day with a warm welcome, nominate them, please. We want to recognize and send good vibes.
Well, speaking of the whole child does not just live in one department, because that was so beautifully said, because it is a nexus. It spreads out, doesn't it? Yeah. So based upon that, it's everywhere and it's really absorbed within the fabric of, tell me about your team. And when I say your team, tell me about those counselors you mentioned. How would you describe them?
Yeah. So I had the honor of supporting counselors and also social workers. And they are angels among us. I cannot tell you how deeply impacted and changed I feel from having the honor to support them, because they listen without limit, they care without limit, they feel and are all in just this boundless, beautiful, wholehearted way. I think the world of them and can't sing their praises highly enough for the impacts that they have for our youth. They're incredible. but Amanda, I have to also say that we also have these. I have a team that Rayanne and Christy that coach schools and are just awesome. Mary that supports us from the University of Washington Tacoma, and Misty that helps keep us all in line. Like our whole child team is out there and helping schools. And like I said, it's also community members. You know, we have the Greater Tacoma Community Foundation has helped align us with all kinds of community members, and they're all in. Safe Streets, helping for neighborhoods. It's just this, it's a movement and it's a way of being, and it takes all of us as a village.
So speaking of that, Laura, are other districts learning from our successes in Tacoma?
We had the honor of being recognized as a leader for social emotional innovation nationally. So sure, but also we learned from them. And Amanda, I got to tell you, like, particularly in this pandemic, we're all learning from each other and evolving quickly. And there's so much genius and brilliance and creation within our own district. So counselors learning from counselors and teachers learning from teachers. And it's this rapid evolution of growth and improvement, and we'll never be done. We are a continuous improvement district. We will continue to grow forever.
You know, during this time, as you have so tenderly said, we're all learning together, and we have parents and we have children learning together too. We have families learning how to be together. So given all of that new emotional territory, what advice do you have, Laura, or what message do you want to give our parents, especially since we have some hybrid schooling happening this week? What do you want them to walk away with?
Well, first, gratitude. We really appreciate that, you know, parents, you've become coaches, like academic coaches through all this. And we appreciate you partnering with us. I want you to know that I don't know of anyone in Tacoma Public Schools that is getting a good night's sleep. You know, we're up in the middle of the night wanting to do better for your kids, wanting to get it right, wanting to do more, wanting to protect them and reach them and help them to feel engaged and supported. So please know that we are all in. And while we, you know, there's perfection may not be attainable in the pandemic, but we are, our hearts are fully here and present, and we're working hard to make this a great experience for your students, to help them learn, to help them grow and feel nurtured.
And with that said, I want to thank you so much, Laura, for being here today and for the amazing work that you and that team does. And I want to put a marker on your calendar to have you back in 90 days to talk about where we are in 90 days and how it's going to look in the spring, summer, and fall. So we won't get too far ahead of ourselves, but thank you again so much for being here.
I appreciate you so much, and thank you. Thank you, Amanda.
Well, our pleasure. We have much more to come on Cityline, so please don't go away. We'll be right back.